I think I've talked for quite a while, and I just wanted to close with a couple things. I see this book as representing a journey of a man, an ordinary man, from the superficial, where I started on my journey, to the more sublime. From a seeming success on the surface of life, so I've been very successful in my work in management with the telephone company, to glimpses of the true depths of existence. I think the book represents a journey of a man prepared to listen to the signs and the synchronicities leading him to a place he'd never been, because that's what the story's about. It takes me to a place where I wanted to lead a life of self-sufficiency. And I knew I had a dream that I wanted to do that. It sort of formulated over the course of my travels, but I didn't know where to do it. And in the course of my journey, a whole bunch of synchronistic messages said, you're supposed to go to Santa Fe, New Mexico, a place I'd never been. And I decided I'd do that. I had nothing better to do, so I did. So it was a journey of trust. I like to think maybe this book is a metaphor for the journey we're all on. A journey from the logical to the intuitive. A journey from doubt to faith. A journey to the place from whence we began, and maybe we learn what it's about for the first time. But more than that, for me, this book represents the fulfillment of a dream. Because, as I said, when I was traveling and these experiences were happening, I would tell them to people, and people would say, you got to write this stuff. I said, I will someday. And when I told them the stories, these synchronistic stories, they'd come back to me invariably within a few days and they'd say, you won't believe what just happened. They'd have similar things themselves. Now, I'm not saying that they started having those things after I told the stories. Maybe they noticed them. I think that's probably more what it was. But that's why I wanted to write it. But the other thing is that I knew I was going to do it, but I didn't know it was going to take this long. It was almost 20 years for it to get into print. And like any dream that's valuable, you have to work for it. Boy, I had to work for it. And a big part of my working for it was overcoming doubt. The doubting voice inside that says, are you good enough to write this? Or, why bother telling your story? All the important stories have already been told. What's so important about yours? Why would you share it? And those same sort of doubting voices from outside. Doesn't matter if it's inside or outside, they're still doubting voices. So I had to overcome that. That was a big thing for me. Bill Cosby once said, I don't know the key to success, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody. I had to please myself. I had to write this thing. I had to do it for myself. And I'm reminded of a little story. I don't know if it's a true one or not, but I like it. It's a nice story. About the two Andean tribes in the Andes in South America were feuding. They feuded for a long time. And the one tribe was from way up in the highlands in the mountains, and the other was a lowland tribe in a valley. And the highland tribe one day came down and kidnapped a baby from the lowland tribe. And the very next day, that lowland tribe sent their best and strongest men up the mountain to retrieve that baby. But they didn't know the trails, and they weren't accustomed to climbing the heights. And about halfway through that next day, they gave up. They said, we're going to have to go back. And they sat down to get their energy, putting their bags back together, and they were going to head back down, and all of a sudden, from above them in the mountains, came a young woman, the mother with her baby, from their tribe. And they turned to her and they said, we couldn't get up there. How did you do that? She said, it wasn't your baby, it was mine.